The air in the majlis was thick with the scent of burning oud and the murmur of hushed conversations, a heavy tapestry of tradition woven around Zara. She sat on a plush velvet cushion, a small figure swallowed by the ornate grandeur of the room, her spine aching with the effort of stillness. The golden arabesques on the wall shimmered, mocking her inner turmoil with their perfect, unyielding lines. Each breath she took felt shallow, constricted by an invisible hand that pressed against her chest, a constant reminder of the weight she carried. Her eyes, usually bright with unspoken stories, were downcast, tracing the intricate patterns of the Persian rug beneath her, a world of intertwined threads far more coherent than her own fragmented existence. The silks and brocades of her formal abaya, usually a source of comfort, now felt like a gilded cage, trapping her in a role she no longer recognized. She felt transparent, a ghost haunting a scene vibrant with life, yet utterly detached from its pulsating rhythm. The clinking of porcelain cups, the soft laughter, the drone of male voices discussing matters of power and lineage, all faded into an indistinct hum, a background score to her profound isolation. Her hands, clasped tightly in her lap, trembled almost imperceptibly, a secret tremor that no one in this room of polished facades would ever notice. A silent plea echoed within her, a desperate longing for something real, something unburdened by the expectations of her name and station. She yearned for the quiet sanctuary of her own thoughts, a space where the noise of the majlis could not intrude, where she could simply exist without being observed, without being judged. The oppressive beauty of her surroundings, with its towering archways and intricate mosaic work, only amplified her sense of confinement, each glimmer of polished marble a reflection of her own internal struggle. The world outside these walls felt impossibly distant, a whispered memory of freedom she could barely grasp. Her gaze drifted to the heavy curtains, rich with embroidered gold thread, yearning to pierce through them, to escape the suffocating weight of this ceremonial space. She was a silent observer in her own life, a captive of expectations, adrift in a sea of unspoken rules. Then, a voice, gentle and warm, cut through the reverie like a sunbeam. "My sweet one, why do you linger here all by yourself?" The gentle voice, probing the solitude of the majlis alcove, found no immediate answer. The quiet longing it sought resonated far beyond that gilded room. Across the empire, another soul knew the sting of enforced obscurity. Farid, whose brief moment in the light had drawn Khalid's cold, appraising gaze, now navigated the echoing passages of the loading dock level. Khalid, whose tenure had inflated his authority, had reassigned Farid to the less visible restrooms with a dismissive wave and a vague accusation of ignoring protocol, a convenient guise for unchecked power. Farid's quiet efficiency, his unobtrusive skill, had only highlighted Khalid's bombast, creating intolerable friction in the organization's careful hierarchy. The air in the subterranean tunnels was thick with exhaust and cleaning chemicals, a stark contrast to the perfumed elegance of the executive floors, and a visceral marker of his precipitous fall. Each step echoed the demotion's weight, a reminder of how merit could be eclipsed by managerial malice. He performed his duties with the same meticulous care he always applied, finding an almost defiant dignity in arranging supplies and keeping surfaces gleaming. Beneath his calm, a quiet anger simmered, not only for himself, but for fairness, for the Empire's forgotten promise to value every contribution. Later, in the hushed smallness of his modest apartment, the city's distant hum a muffled lullaby, Farid found temporary solace. The space was a sanctuary against the hotel's demands, room enough for private thought. His mind drifted to his daughter, Noor, whose delicate spirit had been marked by a traumatic accident years ago. Since then, selective mutism had claimed her voice, a fragile echo of words she could not or would not utter. In her silence, Farid saw his own past, aspirations stifled, an intellectual voice muted by forces beyond his control. The parallels formed a quiet, unspoken bond, deepening a connection where words failed. His gaze fell on a faded Yale diploma, tucked on a dusty shelf among forgotten books, its gold seal dulled by time and neglect. A relic from another life, it testified to an intellect once celebrated, now intentionally ignored, a visible ghost of a future that never fully materialized. The brittle parchment whispered of ambitions left fallow, potential gathering dust. The weight of that past pressed at his chest until the shrill ring of his phone shattered the evening. The caller ID read HR Department, Executive Floor, jolting him from reverie. For a man exiled to the hotel's service depths, a direct call from the executive echelons was not merely unusual. It was unheard of, a breach of the rigid protocols that enforced internal castes. Apprehension and a buried curiosity tightened his brow. The abrupt request for his immediate presence on a floor he had not accessed in years suggested an urgency that defied explanation. A quiet, unsettling tension gathered in his shoulders, a premonition of something significant, perhaps momentous, yet unknown. The phone felt heavy in his hand, a strange conduit to a world he had long thought left behind. Zara's gaze, previously lost in the intricate patterns of the marble, slowly lifted, meeting the kind, assessing eyes of a woman whose presence radiated an understated power, like a deep river flowing silently. Her abaya, a richer, more vibrant sapphire than Zara's own, was subtly embroidered with threads that caught the Majlis's light, an echo of the constellations above. A delicate scent of jasmine, distinct from the prevailing oud, wafted gently, a fresh note in the heavy air. Zara felt a familiar internal retreat, a fleeting desire to melt back into the crimson shadows, but something in the woman's calm demeanor held her. There was no demand in her question, only a genuine curiosity, a rare quality in a room so steeped in veiled intentions. The clinking of teacups, the distant laughter, and the soft murmur of conversations faded to a dull thrum at the periphery of Zara's awareness, suddenly less intrusive. She noticed the slight crinkling at the corners of the woman's eyes, a hint of a life lived with both grace and resilience. A silence stretched between them, not awkward but contemplative, filled with the unspoken weight of Zara's solitude and the woman's gentle inquiry. Zara felt the stirrings of a response forming, a rare and fragile thing, as if a long-sealed door was creaking open within her. The words, when they finally came, were soft, barely above a whisper, woven with the melancholy that had clung to her spirit throughout the evening. She found herself drawn to the quiet strength emanating from the woman, a counterpoint to the dazzling, yet ultimately hollow grandeur of the surroundings. This unexpected interlude felt like a small, unexpected reprieve, a breath of cooler air in the opulent, stifling warmth. The question hung in the air, a delicate bridge between two strangers, and for the first time in hours, Zara felt a faint flicker of connection, a subtle shift in the heavy atmosphere of her isolation. She observed the woman's patient posture, the genuine warmth in her gaze, and found a quiet courage to articulate a fraction of the vast inner landscape she typically kept hidden. Her voice, though still tinged with a weariness that permeated her very bones, carried a surprising clarity, like a single note struck true in a dissonant symphony. This momentary pause in her internal monologue was a testament to the woman's subtle magnetism, a quiet force that gently pulled Zara from her self-imposed exile. The rich tapestries, the gleaming chandeliers, and the hushed conversations of the Majlis continued their intricate dance. But for Zara, the focal point had undeniably shifted, centering on the woman who now stood before her, offering a simple, yet profound, question. This unexpected interaction was a fragile spark in the grand, shimmering void of her evening, hinting at a path forward from the labyrinth of her own thoughts. The weight on her chest, though not entirely lifted, felt momentarily less crushing, replaced by a delicate sense of anticipation. The Oasis of Voices room flourished, transforming from a mere concept into a vibrant, living testament to the power of shared human experience. Jamal, with his innovative culinary vision, presented a fusion menu that spoke of cultural exchange and unexpected harmony, while Lena, the engineer previously confined to housekeeping, outlined sustainable energy solutions that promised to redefine the hotel's ecological footprint. Dahlia's daughter, once a silent talent, articulated a compelling plan for community outreach, her voice clear and resonant. In a pivotal moment, during a particularly heated discussion about corporate restructuring, Noor, Farid's daughter, approached the whiteboard. Her small hand, usually reserved for intricate flag drawings, now held a marker, and with quiet certainty, she wrote a single profound word: feel. Then, turning to the room, her voice, steady and clear, spoke of understanding the silent burdens others carried, of seeing past the surface to the emotional landscape beneath. She became, in that instant, the unexpected voice of an entire building, articulating the unspoken needs and hopes of those who had long been overlooked. Layla, watching Noor, felt a shift deep within her own guarded heart, confessing to Farid later that she had learned what grace looks like from the quiet strength of his daughter. With renewed purpose, Layla officially launched the Hidden Voices initiative, appointing Farid as Global Director of Cultural Strategy, a role that recognized not just his intellect, but his profound empathy. A new learning center opened its doors, a space where Farid taught, his words building bridges between cultures and disciplines, and where Noor, with a radiant smile, wrote, "Welcome" on the entrance, a symbol of a place where everyone was finally seen, not sorted. Layla then presented Farid with a cherished gift, his late wife's engraved pen, a symbolic passing of the torch, cementing their shared future. Together, they would continue building the true wealth of an empire, in the echoes of its unheard voices, a legacy illuminated by Noor's final, poignant words, "No one is perfect, but some people stay," a testament to healing and a lasting, inclusive transformation that promised a new dawn for the empire. The empire's new dawn, born of inclusive change, demanded unwavering merit. Layla intended to make it its core. She stood, decisive in her slate-gray abaya, addressing Samira with quiet authority, her gaze signaling a profound shift in institutional ethos. No longer would inherited status or old connections dictate worth. Only demonstrated capability, true talent, and undeniable contribution would secure advancement. Samira's departure, conducted with hushed formality, marked an irreversible end to old entitlements and the complacent acceptance of mediocrity that had long pervaded the upper echelons. Layla retrieved a slender, bound academic abstract from the cool rosewood surface of her desk, its pages filled with dense, rigorous prose. It was Farid's exposition on cross-cultural communication theory, a document she had not skimmed but of which she had been a careful reader. Its arguments, nuanced grasp of global dynamics, and deep insights revealed the true depth of his intellect, confirming his unparalleled sense for linguistic nuance and geopolitical subtlety. His talents, once marginalized and confined to academic shadows, now stood as indispensable assets for the empire's evolving global posture. Layla's quiet conviction hardened into resolve. This temporary assignment for Farid was neither superficial kindness nor misplaced sympathy. "It's not charity," she murmured into the sunlit office, voice steady. "It's not pity, it's a correction. This realignment, a strategic imperative born of clear-eyed assessment of merit, was crucial to charting an authentic, equitable, and sustainable future." Her solitary vision felt fortified by competence and integrity. On his first morning in the gleaming executive suite, usually a domain of muted power and careful choreography, Farid adjusted the new badge on his simple attire. The opulent surroundings, so different from his previous contemplative workspace, seemed charged with a demanding energy. He immersed himself in the summit materials, a formidable collection of reports, proposals, and sensitive diplomatic communiques. His linguistic sensibility and analytic mind immediately engaged. A disturbing pattern emerged. These were not mere typos. He found insidious mistranslations that distorted critical diplomatic intentions and undermined trust. One glaring example rendered strategic collaboration as the alarmingly aggressive hostile acquisition in a Mandarin version of a key bilateral agreement, a misrepresentation that could trigger catastrophic fallout. Another warped an offer of mutual developmental support into a demand for unilateral resource transfer within the Arabic translation of a vital economic pact, threatening nascent partnerships. Farid, heart quickening with concern and professional focus, meticulously highlighted each discrepancy. The scale and systematic nature of the errors underscored the urgent necessity of his expertise, vindicating Layla's bold decision. What had been conceived as a temporary, perhaps token placement, now proved indispensable, a bulwark against misunderstanding and potential geopolitical crisis. The executive suite, emblem of his unexpected ascent, became a crucible demanding precise linguistic intervention. He paused, pen poised, its familiar weight grounding him as the gravity of his discovery settled in. The empire's carefully cultivated future depended on the fragile, powerful bridge of accurate, empathetic language, awaiting his steady hand to secure its foundations. The weight of the new official badge felt light against Farid's chest as he began his first morning in the executive suite. The intricate tapestry of the summit materials unfolded before him, a complex linguistic puzzle he was uniquely poised to solve. He quickly identified a series of critical mistranslations, not minor slips, but egregious errors that could unravel diplomatic relations. One particularly alarming instance transformed a phrase intended as strategic collaboration into a jarring hostile acquisition in Mandarin, a blunder that underscored the immediate and desperate need for his specific expertise. This discovery cemented the uncomfortable truth that beneath the hotel's gleaming facade, a delicate dance of words, fraught with peril, awaited his intervention. The quiet hum of the executive floor, once a distant echo, now thrummed with the silent urgency of his task. He knew, with a certainty that settled deep within him, that his invisible years had somehow prepared him for this very visible challenge. The gilded environment, with its polished marble and hushed whispers, was a stark contrast to the intellectual chaos he was now charged with untangling. While reviewing name placards for the Elite Business Summit, Farid encounters Khalid, the hotel's director of operations, impeccably dressed in a bespoke, tailored thobe. Khalid, with a smile that doesn't reach his calculating eyes, condescendingly refers to Farid as the janitor everyone's whispering about, questioning his abilities for the high-stakes summit. Farid, maintaining a calm demeanor, responds with a sharp truth. If a single word can cost millions, then maybe you should have hired a linguist 6 months ago, his words cutting through Khalid's arrogance. The vast currents of the empire's grand narrative continued their intricate flow. Yet sometimes, the profoundest affirmations of its chosen path emerged in the most intimate, unscripted moments. Farid, returning home as twilight softened the edges of the city, found the quiet sanctuary of his living room transformed into a private cartographic studio. Noor, nestled amidst a scatter of colored pencils and large sheets of paper, was absorbed in the meticulous rendering of national flags. The tricolor of France, the bold red and gold of China, the vibrant stripes of the Netherlands. Beside each carefully drawn banner, her small hand had transcribed phonetic pronunciations, a secret language charting her own course through the world. A gentle chuckle escaped Farid, a warmth spreading through him as he recognized the familiar emblems from his own recent diplomatic briefs. His daughter, in her innocent ingenuity, was spying on his work, her curiosity a tender echo of his global endeavors. He watched her for a moment longer, a silent observer to her focused artistry, feeling the quiet grace of her presence. Then, lifting her gaze, Noor's eyes, luminous with an unspoken message, met his. She extended a small, hesitant finger toward the Dutch flag, its simple bands of red, white, and blue, a testament to both clarity and strength. A breath held, a world paused, as she then whispered, soft as a desert breeze, a single resonant word, welcome. It was not merely a greeting, but a profound offering, a word she had held close, unspoken to anyone but him, since the profound stillness that had descended after the accident. The sound, delicate yet unwavering, settled deep within Farid's chest, a profound tremor of emotion. It was a bridge rebuilt, a silent testament to her enduring spirit. His heart swelled, a quiet joy blooming amidst the complexities of his days. He knelt beside her, his hand gently covering hers, his voice thick with unexpressed gratitude. He reminded her softly of the quiet hope she carried, a beacon he would hold close in his own journey. In response, with a deliberate, almost sacred gesture, Noor reached for a fresh sheet and with renewed purpose, penned the Italian flag. Beside its green, white, and red, she carefully inscribed a single, beautiful word, Speranza, hope. Farid, watching the nascent script, affirmed with a conviction that touched the very soul, that's the best language of them all. It was a truth deeper than any diplomatic treaty, a testament to the enduring power of human connection, a quiet promise in the evolving landscape of their lives. This small, profound exchange in their home was a potent reminder, a grounding force, that the true work of their empire, the heart of its transformation, pulsed not in grand boardrooms, but in the fragile, resilient whispers of hope, understood in every language, resonating within the quiet sanctuary of a shared moment, forging bonds stronger than any external force could ever hope to sever. It was a declaration, made in hushed tones, that the greatest wealth lay not in what was owned, but in what was felt, cherished, and courageously expressed. The gravity of that collective undertaking, a promise whispered against the world's skepticism, settled deep within Layla. Hours before the elite business summit would transform the Marble Palace atrium into a crucible of diplomacy, she watched her team move with anticipatory precision through the grand hall. The crystal chandelier, usually a cold symbol of permanence, shimmered with fragile tension, revealing the nervous energy beneath corporate composure. Each carried not just logistical tasks, but the burden of validating a vision, reimagining how true power operated. Her gaze, usually sharp and clinical, softened when it found Farid, a calm figure checking microphones, a quiet anchor in the opulent bustle. A familiar knot of apprehension tightened, a pre-summit ritual now tinged with vulnerability from the trust she had against old instincts placed in him. This was no longer about a deal or image. It was about validating an entire philosophy. She approached in measured steps, feeling a pause in the hum of preparations. "Farid," she said softly above the murmur and distant clink of gold-plated tableware, "are you truly ready for this room?" The question probed beyond logistics, testing the resolve that had altered her guarded view. He turned. His steady, kind eyes met hers with a faint smile. There was an unshakable confidence, a quiet strength that belied his unassuming exterior and past station. "Layla," he replied, calm and resonant. "I've faced tougher rooms than this, many times." His reply, without bravado but full of self-possession, struck her like a chord. Resilience forged through years of being overlooked in spaces where his intellect and empathy went unseen. For a long moment, Layla looked at him, seeing him without the corrosive shadow of inherited prejudice. The implicit question his presence had posed weeks earlier, the audacity of entrusting her family's billion-dollar summit to someone once dismissed as a janitor, echoed in her mind. What had been a tentative intellectual gamble now emerged from a place where logic yielded to intuitive certainty. "I do now," she said, a quiet admission and testament to the shift in her leadership, a surrender to the truth his humble brilliance embodied. The scent of Arabian oud from a discreet diffuser, usually a note of control, felt like a reminder of the unseen depths they'd explored together. She leaned in conspiratorially. The grandeur softened, their conversation the point. "The truth is, Farid," she continued, softer and unexpectedly vulnerable, "I didn't pull you out of the basement just for your linguistic genius." A brief pause, weighted with history. "I value something more, your ability to truly listen. You listen like someone who knew what it felt like to be unheard, to have words dissolve in a room." A tremor touched her voice, an echo of her own past, countless times formidable yet unheard among supposedly brilliant people who understood nothing of the messy human world beyond their cages. "I've been in those rooms," she confessed, gazing across the hall, now a stage for a different power, full of smart people who understood nothing, nothing at all. Farid's silence affirmed her confession, honoring her vulnerability with quiet grace. A shared understanding settled, an unspoken pact against forces that sought to categorize and divide. The chandelier seemed to hum, no longer mere status, but a fragile constellation of interconnected brilliance. His steady gaze confirmed her transformation was not solitary, but a shared path. Each step, reinforcing belief in the power of every voice finding its song. The vast hall, once intimidating, now promised a future shaped not by old power, but by genuine human connection. The summit, they knew, was merely the beginning. The summit prep room hummed with an almost electric tension, a stark contrast to the quiet internal landscape Noor had been navigating. Every surface gleamed, every screen projected intricate data points. Yet Layla's focus narrowed, her attention drawn entirely to Farid, who stood amidst a flurry of activity, reviewing a stack of complex documents. His insights, meticulous and profound, cut through the noise, offering corrections and linguistic nuances that sharpened the diplomatic edge of their presentations. Layla, her resolve now tempered with a deeper understanding of human potential, approached him, a small black object held carefully in her hand. The air around them seemed to thicken with unspoken significance as she extended it. A new name tag, sleek and professional, its silver etching proclaiming Farid Cross, International Liaison. Her voice, usually crisp and businesslike, held a rare, almost gentle inflection as she explained its temporary nature. Yet she underscored the importance of perception, emphasizing that optics matter in forging a new reality. Farid's fingers brushed the cool metal, the weight of the silver, a tangible anchor to a role he had once only dreamed of. A profound shift rippled through him, stirring memories of 6 long years spent cultivating an almost perfect invisibility, a self-imposed exile he had once found comfort in. The quiet solitude had been a shield, a retreat from a world that had, for so long, failed to truly see him. Now, as the words international liaison cemented his presence, a truth, long dormant, resurfaced, bubbling up from the depths of his being. A faint smile touched his lips, tinged with both nostalgia and burgeoning hope. "Now I remember why I loved being heard," he murmured, the admission a quiet revelation. He moved with an effortless grace through the bustling environment, a natural conductor in the symphony of preparations. His linguistic prowess, once confined to silent interpretation, now flowed freely, a bridge spanning multiple languages and intricate cultural nuances. He navigated complex discussions with a quiet authority, offering clarity where confusion had threatened to take root. Assistants, initially guarded, found themselves seeking his counsel, while seasoned directors nodded in genuine respect. Even Fatima, the hotel's vibrant catering lead, whose keen eyes missed little, paused to offer a warm, acknowledging smile. "About time someone like you got seen," she stated, her words carrying the weight of unspoken experiences, a simple affirmation that resonated deeply within the newly visible Farid. The room, once a mere workspace, transformed into a vibrant crucible where his unique brilliance truly began to shine, a beacon of what their empire could become. The radiant promise of a united humanity met immediate friction within the empire. Khalid, a formidable presence whose authority long-shaped corporate corridors, watched Farid's rising influence with increasing unease. The hotel's shift toward an empathetic, people-centered ethos, championed by Farid, clashed with Khalid's belief in how power was exercised. His gaze, usually a cold calculus of profit and loss, narrowed when he intercepted Farid near the executive elevators. The subtle tightening around his eyes betrayed a simmering resentment at the erosion of old paradigms. He approached with practiced casualness, a predator feigning indifference. Tension radiated from his tailored form. Farid paused mid-conversation with a junior colleague, an emblem of the democratic changes Khalid resented, sensed the impending confrontation. Khalid's voice was smoothly modulated, a low hum with a surgical edge that cut the hotel's ambient murmur. "Farid," he began, conversational yet accusatory, "for someone steering such significant cultural shifts, your recent academic or corporate references are conspicuously absent. The market demands verifiable credentials, not sentiment." The implication challenged Farid's legitimacy. Stepping infinitesimally closer, his voice dropping, Khalid became more menacing. "This hotel, Farid," he said with chilling clarity, "doesn't run on sentiment. It runs on structure, on process, on authority. It always has, and always will." It was a declaration of entrenched power and a repudiation of Farid's inclusive leadership. Farid met the veiled threat with calm that absorbed Khalid's aggression. A faint smile touched his lips, quiet defiance that disarmed more than any retort. His reply, soft but clear, struck with unexpected force. Then perhaps it's time the structure stopped mistaking loyalty for silence. Without another glance, he turned, composed and self-assured, and stepped into the waiting elevator. The polished doors slid shut with a soft hiss, sealing him away and leaving Khalid alone in the gleaming corridor. His jaw visibly tightened. The brief charged encounter left a palpable tremor, proof that a new form of power was emerging, one that redefined strength through quiet conviction rather than overt force. Khalid watched the illuminated numbers ascend, grappling with the profound defiance he had witnessed. The old guard faced a challenge unlike any before, a struggle for the Empire's soul, fought not with brute strength but with subtle shifts in influence and quiet acts of courage, had only just begun. The insight that had stirred within Noor, a nascent desire to contribute, settled as the day's demands receded into the Dubai skyline. Farid felt the quiet shift from the day's currents to the harbor of home, a sanctuary of simple truths. Entering the apartment, warmth enveloped him, a contrast to the polished chill of corporate halls. Noor sat among a colorful scatter of flashcards across the richly patterned rug, each bearing a single word in a different script. Her small fingers arranged them, brow furrowed, a quiet scholar. Among Arabic, Farsi, English, Dutch, one card stood out. In bold script, "Listen." She looked up, eyes usually reflective now sparking a question he knew as a yearning for deeper connection. With a shy smile, she extended the listen card to him, a silent invitation beyond mere sound. Farid knelt, taking the card, its smooth surface cool in his palm, suddenly weighty. He admired her relentless curiosity. "To truly listen, little one," he murmured. "Choosing each word is more than hearing. It means letting words land within you without preparing your own reply. It's opening yourself to what's offered, even if it's uncomfortable, especially if it carries a difficult truth." She absorbed him, head tilted, processing beyond her years. Then, deliberate, she reached for a pen, and beneath "listen" wrote another word, "feel." That single word struck Farid like revelation, piercing his intellectual defenses. "Feel," he repeated, awe in his tone, as his understanding shifted. Her intuition revealed that real listening is an act of empathy, a willingness not just to take in information, but to connect with the raw emotion beneath it. It demanded surrender to the full spectrum of human experience, a bridge of shared vulnerability, as much as understanding. He held her close, an unspoken promise between them to remember that simple truth. That night's sleep offered quiet reflection, Noor's word resting luminous in his consciousness, reshaping perception. Morning's calm gave way to the brisk cadence of the corporate world. Layla's summons awaited on his comms. He arrived at her glass sky lounge office. Immense windows framed the glittering Doha skyline, testament to her empire. She stood by the window, silhouette sharp against the light. A platinum tea set gleamed, untouched. A new, expectant look softened her usual reserve. "Farid," she said, voice measured now with rare directness. "I need your touch on these." She gestured to a stack of draft speeches and communiques for the Elite Business Summit. "Sharpen them like a blade. Remove every extraneous word, every false note, every shadow of pretense. Make them cut through the noise and reveal the unvarnished truth beneath." Her gaze, usually guarded, held his with clear affirmation of her belief in his gifts. "I trust your integrity implicitly," she continued, voice softening, revealing vulnerability. "You understand what things mean when they are not spoken. You hear echoes within silence, perceive truths beneath the surface, skills we desperately need as we navigate these waters." The gravity of her request settled on him, a task demanding linguistic prowess and an inexhaustible well of empathy, a prescient sense of invisible currents. He took the speeches, crisp pages, tangible symbols of the complex work ahead and of the new era Layla was forging, one rooted in vulnerability, trust, and a shared commitment to genuine understanding. He felt the weight of her trust, a powerful force propelling him forward toward a new dawn. Farid's gaze slid past Layla to a point beyond the window, a landscape only he could see, painted in the muted tones of a memory both cherished and aching. When he spoke, his voice was softer, resonant with long-held echoes, a current beneath their professional exchange that pulled them, briefly, into something more personal. He spoke of his late wife, a woman devoted to the eloquence of hands, a sign language interpreter who knew, perhaps better than anyone, the distance between mere utterance and true expression. Her belief had been simple and fierce. Language was not the fleeting sounds we make, the easy words that tumble out without thought, but the courage to name what lives in your core, to speak truth despite fear or expectation. After she died, a vast silence settled over him, a void that seemed ready to swallow him. Yet in that quiet he learned a new listening, an ear for the unsaid, for the small shifts in face and posture, the flicker in an eye, the tension in a shoulder, each telling volumes without a syllable. Loss had given him a new sensitivity to hidden narratives. A brief shadow passed over Layla's face as she absorbed his confession, a flicker of introspection, a rare vulnerability, or a quiet recognition of his depth. Her stillness held an uncommon empathy, Then she shifted back to the present with decisive purpose. Leaning forward, eyes sharp with conviction, she left no room for doubt. "Farid," she said, her voice firm, "there's a final confirmation of your role. You will speak on behalf of the hotel at the summit's opening, before all the dignitaries. You will welcome the delegates and translate my words live for everyone, ensuring understanding." Surprise washed over him, disarming and breath-stealing. The gravity of her decision hung between them. He had not expected such a visible responsibility so soon after his return. Layla allowed no protest. Her gaze was steady, her conviction absolute. "It is what you have earned, Farid," she added, tone softening with a rare human note. "I'm learning how to leave the door unlocked. True leadership isn't holding the keys yourself, but empowering others to step through and take their place." Her words landed like a quiet challenge and an acknowledgement, shifting their relationship toward partnership and shared vision. Below, the city hummed on, indifferent to the silent pact formed in the suite's hush, a commitment that promised to reshape both their paths. Fate and choice braided tighter, pulling them toward an unforeseen future that demanded embrace. Responding to the silent summons, a clarity about her evolving purpose settled in Noor's young heart, and she was drawn to the hotel's secluded luxury desert resort. This elevated sanctuary, a hidden infinity pool oasis, offered an unparalleled vista of Dubai's ambition, yet remained a tranquil pocket far from the city's pulse. Amid the rustle of desert flora and the murmur of the pool, she often sought solace with her father, Farid. One late afternoon, as the sun painted the skyline amber and rose, Layla, the empire's formidable leader, came to the retreat. Her footsteps, usually firm, carried an unusual lightness, as if pulled by the space's peace. She found them, Farid, watchful and steady. Noor, absorbed in her sketchbook, small hands crafting intricate flag drawings. Layla's sharp gaze softened as she paused, held by the quiet's magnetic pull. With a grace that belied her corporate demeanor, Layla crouched beside Noor. Her eyes, typically assessing, now held a contemplative warmth. She leaned in, drawn to the tapestry of flags, each crayon stroke a testament to diverse cultures and expressed identities. A vulnerability, rarely shown, slipped from Layla in a soft confession. She too had known profound quietude. Her father's company had been a crucible of ambition, where soft voices had no tolerance. For a heartbeat, a younger, uncertain Layla flickered across her features, an echo of a time when silence felt like a burden. Then, looking from Noor's intent eyes to the pool's shimmering edge, Layla shared a hard-won truth. Silence was not weakness, but another language, nuanced and potent, able to convey depths words could not. This quiet revelation, offered with humility and sincerity, opened something in Noor. The girl, listening with an intensity beyond hearing, lifted her head. Her luminous eyes met Layla's. In that silent exchange, a bond formed, not from proclamations but from shared recognition of an unexpressed human experience. Noor's posture shifted, her spirit quickened. She reached for a blank page, green crayon poised, and began to sketch a new flag, vertical stripes emerging as a silent testament to empathy and the power of feeling. The oasis, charged by their exchange, vibrated with promise, a future where every form of expression would find resonance. This subtle interaction, far above the city's clamor, strengthened their shared vision and the empire's soul, ensuring inclusion would echo, soft, resolute, beyond their gleaming towers. Amidst the empire's burgeoning harmony, where every unique voice found its place, Layla sought a quiet connection beyond grand initiatives. One evening, as Dubai's fiery sunset yielded to twilight, she approached Noor, quietly absorbed in a secluded corner. In Layla's hands rested a beautifully illustrated children's book, Children's Flags of the World, a gift honoring Noor's spirit and her profound affinity for national symbols. As Noor's eyes, usually veiled, widened with delight, Layla felt a subtle shift within her guarded heart. Introspection settled, and she began to speak, her voice a low, confessional murmur, recalling a distant past. She spoke of a girl she once knew, mistakenly taught that power lay solely in volume, in commanding attention with a loud voice. This belief had driven the girl to construct an impenetrable fortress around her true self, a silent defense against a world equating quietness with weakness. Layla's words, tinged with melancholy, hung in the gilded air, an unspoken reflection of her arduous journey. Her past self, slowly emerging from the stronghold she too had meticulously built. Sharing this intimate memory felt like a delicate breach in her defenses, a rare offering in the developing trust between her and Noor, acknowledging fragile strength found in honesty. This profound moment subtly shifted the room's emotional landscape, preparing it for deeper truths. Farid, whose serene presence carried the steady anchor of profound wisdom, entered with characteristic, imperceptible grace. He paused, his gaze thoughtful, absorbing Layla's introspective recounting. When she concluded, a profound silence, rich with unspoken meaning, settled, punctuated by Noor gently turning a page, amplifying the quietude. With insight cutting through Layla's narrative, Farid offered a quiet, deeply resonant observation. His words were a powerful metaphor for insularity's dangers. Structures permitting no outward gaze, no inward reflection, no shared light to penetrate stifling facades. This truth resonated deeply, unlocking a new, expansive perspective on Layla's ambitions for their evolving empire, transforming her strategic mindset into one tempered by human understanding. Her gaze, thoughtful and tinged with nascent vulnerability, turned fully to Farid, seeking shared exploration. A question, long weighing on her spirit, about human adaptability and silent expression, formed gently on her lips. Hesitant, yet urgent, Farid met her gaze with warmth, holding deep, empathetic understanding and unwavering hope. This profound exchange, laden with unspoken depths, laid essential groundwork for a deeper understanding to blossom, weaving individual narratives into a shared future. It was a foundation built not on pronouncements but on the delicate art of truly hearing another's soul, recognizing subtle echoes in quiet spaces, and nurturing empathy for a connected future where silence itself could speak volumes to a discerning ear, if one listened with an open heart. The air between them now vibrated with this nascent, vital understanding. Yet even as quiet triumphs of understanding blossomed, a deliberate shadow unfurled, threatening to eclipse the promise of a united future. Farid, immersed in preparations for the summit's grand welcome, noticed a seemingly minor detail in the Mandarin packet. What should have conveyed respect instead declared acceptance of inferiority. The linguistic betrayal chilled him. Not an innocent oversight, but a calculated affront, poison injected into diplomatic goodwill. A disaster loomed, its implications radiating outward, threatening months of painstaking work to forge connection and trust. The assembly's air, meant to hum with shared purpose, now felt charged with an unseen threat, demanding an immediate reckoning. Farid's alarm sharpened into resolve. He launched a swift investigation, combing translated materials prepared for the delegations. What he found was more insidious than a single error. A troubling pattern emerged, subtle yet offensive errors woven into welcome packets, signage, and official correspondence in multiple languages. Each mistranslation, whether Arabic, French, or Spanish, was crafted to undermine trust, to hint at condescension where respect should have been. The consistent damning thread was their unquestioning approval by Khalid, known in corporate circles as Thomas Whitaker. Every flawed document bore his imprimatur, a chilling testament to sabotage from within. The contracting firm, Apex Global Linguistics, began to echo ominously in Farid's thoughts, drawing him deeper into a web of deceit. His probing led to a more unsettling revelation. Apex's lead linguist was Hannah, outside corporate walls, Ashley Whitaker. The connection struck Farid like a personal betrayal. Hannah was Khalid's niece, exposing blatant nepotism and a corrupt entanglement within the organization. What had seemed a series of errors became systemic corruption, a deliberate ploy to destabilize the summit and discredit the empire on the global stage. The atmosphere of trust that Layla, Farid, and Noor had painstakingly built now teetered on the brink of an international crisis, threatened by a network that weaponized language for malicious ends. The discovery cast a long, ominous shadow over the promise of harmony, demanding immediate, decisive action, lest their shared vision be irrevocably tarnished. The radiant promise of a truly inclusive future, once a distant ideal, now resonated through the empire, weaving into the daily rhythms of every life. A subtle, profound shift in collective consciousness unfurled, empathy becoming the quiet undercurrent, guiding interactions and turning exchanges into genuine connections. Success was no longer measured only by financial reports or monumental buildings. A new lexicon of human flourishing took root, valuing unseen contributions and unheard stories. Each genuine smile in the thoroughfares, every shared reflection in newly opened common spaces, carried the weight of this deeper understanding. The grand vision, once a beacon on the horizon, now cast gentle light into the mundane, illuminating dignity in every task and person. Once rigid hierarchies, like desert sands shifting under a breeze, softened, yielding to a more fluid, reciprocal exchange of ideas, as if the air itself had grown democratic. Conversations once guarded and transactional dared to explore real concerns and shared aspirations, forging bonds that transcended titles and divisions. This quiet revolution, born from personal connection and shared vulnerability, showed itself in countless small acts of kindness and collaboration, stitching together a richer, more resilient social tapestry. The empire's pulse quickened, not with frantic commerce but with the steady, harmonious beat of a collective heart, each voice contributing to an emergent symphony of purpose and belonging. The ethos of seen, not sorted, permeated foundations, turning routine into ritual and labor into meaningful contribution. Old grievances, once simmering, found open channels for respectful resolution, transforming discord into constructive dialogue and strengthening the whole. Each sunrise over Dubai brought not merely light, but renewed shared potential, an invitation to build a world defined by mutual respect and opportunity. This internal renewal resonated outward, altering the empire's global posture toward a human-centered approach, a quiet strength in its dealings. Yet deep-seated habits, ingrained ambition, and old power structures resisted. Not all hearts embraced the shift. Some clung to familiar comforts and predictable currents. This lingering reticence became a quiet undercurrent, less overt opposition than gentle inertia, requiring patience and commitment from Layla, Farid, and Noor. Their leadership became an ongoing act of gentle persuasion, weaving the human narrative into policy, projects, and whispered corridor conversations. The Learning Center, a vibrant hub of exchange, served as a crucible where such nuances were met with compassion, doubts voiced, empathy taught and practiced daily. Fostering unity revealed the intricate distinctions within it, reminding everyone that true strength lay not in uniformity, but in valuing each unique shade of experience. This cultivation of a collective soul, an act demanding vigilance born of understanding rather than suspicion, became their guiding principle. It was a transformative journey into the heart of their own humanity, continually discovering layers of connection and aspiration that bound them. The silent, often unheralded work of integration became the true measure of progress, a testament to the power of gentle persistence against entrenched currents. Their future, they knew, would be written not only in grand pronouncements, but in quiet daily triumphs. One heart, one conversation, one unseen act of empathy at a time. The path ahead shimmered with promise, and the steady, quiet demands of lasting change. The steady, quiet demands of lasting change rippled outward, transforming the empire not with seismic shifts, but with the inexorable flow of a deep river carving new paths through ancient stone. Each dawn brought a fresh canvas, painted with the subtle hues of evolving interactions, where the grand vision of a united humanity began to manifest in the minute details of daily existence. The emphasis had shifted from monumental achievements to the profound significance of the overlooked, the quiet victories of a shared smile, the understanding gleaned from a patient pause in conversation. This was the true architecture of their new world, built not from steel and glass, but from the resilient threads of empathy woven into the social fabric, one intricate stitch at a time. The bustling markets, once arenas of brisk transaction, now hummed with a softer energy, a nascent awareness of shared narratives and interconnected destinies. The concept of seen, not sorted, permeated deeper, becoming an unspoken covenant that celebrated the unique brilliance of every individual, irrespective of their station or story. This ongoing act of integration, demanding both vulnerability and courage, revealed the subtle resistance still present. not as overt defiance but as the stubborn clinging to comfort in established routines, the quiet inertia of hearts not yet fully open. Layla, Farid, and Noor understood this was not a battle to be won with force, but a garden to be tended with infinite patience, each seed of empathy requiring careful nurturing against the encroachment of old paradigms. Their leadership, therefore, became a continuous symphony of gentle persuasion, their collective wisdom a compass guiding the empire through the delicate nuances of human transformation. The Learning Center, a vibrant crucible of burgeoning understanding, echoed with the hopeful laughter of those discovering their voice. Yet its walls also absorbed the quiet anxieties of those still learning to shed the armor of the past. It was a space where doubts were not silenced but explored, where the language of true connection was not merely taught but lived, practiced in the tender give and take of genuine dialogue. This constant process of fostering unity, of honoring the intricate distinctions that composed their collective soul, demanded a vigilance rooted not in suspicion, but in an unwavering faith in humanity's boundless potential. The future, shimmering on the horizon, was not a destination to be reached, but a continuous journey of discovery, a testament to the enduring power of gentle persistence in the face of deep-seated societal currents. The empire's legacy, they knew, would be etched not in conquests, but in the countless quiet triumphs of understanding, forging a path toward a truly harmonious future. The empire's legacy, they knew, would be etched not in conquests, but in countless quiet triumphs of understanding, forging a path toward a truly harmonious future. What began as a fragile whisper had become a current reshaping Dubai's skyline and the inner landscapes of its people. Each gleaming tower and bustling marketplace carried a new purpose, a silent testament to a collective journey that prized empathy. The air itself held a sense of shared destiny, a tapestry of individual aspirations and communal spirit. Subtle shifts appeared everywhere, a deeper resonance in greetings, a thoughtful pause in negotiations, a quiet acknowledgement of shared humanity in the streets. Interactions ceased to be purely transactional and acquired an undercurrent of real connection, a recognition of the bonds that held their evolving society. The Learning Center, a beacon of exchange, thrummed not merely with information, but with wisdom found together. Voices once at the margins now formed an eloquent chorus, their narratives interweaving into a richer understanding. Each story laid another brick in this new foundation, proving that strength lay not in uniformity, but in a vibrant mosaic of experience. Layla, Farid, and Noor, a trinity of quiet power, guided this change with steady grace. Their leadership cultivated human potential rather than imposed it. They knew deepest changes grew from persistent kindness, the gentle insistence on seeing and valuing every soul. The engraved pen on Layla's desk was more than a symbol of succession. It was an eternal flame of commitment, its weight a constant reminder of the legacy they shaped. Farid's calm authority, rooted in ancient wisdom and modern insight, became a river cutting through resistance. His measured words bridged divides, coaxing hearts toward interconnectedness. Noor moved through this landscape as observer and participant. Her unjaded perspective revealed vulnerabilities and strengths alike. She embodied seen, not sordid, reminding them that true wealth lay in the boundless potential of united humanity. Defending that fragile promise required more than safe havens. It demanded engaging a world eager to categorize and control and championing unheard voices amid global noise. Her purpose, quietly fierce, pursued their shared aspirations against the odds. The path ahead remained demanding but no longer insurmountable. It glowed with the promise of unity, a vision she was determined to secure, hands eager to shape the clay of a new world. Their work was not mere expansion, but the fortification of the empire's soul, ensuring its message of inclusion echoed beyond borders. This ongoing creation, vigilant and rooted in deep understanding rather than suspicion, was their truest measure of progress. The lasting, inclusive transformation, sparked by Noor's quiet wisdom and fortified by Layla's renewed resolve, rippled outward from the oasis of voices. It was a recalibration of purpose, embedding itself in daily interactions. The true wealth of this burgeoning empire was woven not with gold, but with resilient human connection, each conversation a stitch in a stronger social fabric. Farid, Global Director of Cultural Strategy, navigated this landscape with the quiet authority of one who had walked academic halls and invisible pathways of service. His leadership, more invitation than directive, encouraged every voice once muffled by hierarchy to rise. He found himself in unexpected spaces, cafeteria, security office, maintenance workshop, listening, truly listening, to the unvarnished stories of those once sorted into categories denying their potential. The engraved pen, a constant cool weight, felt less like a memento and more like a tool for excavation, unearthing hidden brilliance. He understood that to build an empire of echoes, one first had to clear surrounding noise, patiently dismantling structures of misunderstanding. His teachings in the Learning Center went beyond linguistic nuance, delving into the grammar of human empathy, teaching others to listen hard enough to hear silent truths. Layla, observing these shifts, felt a pride deeper than any past business triumph. Her initial detachment became a refined clarity. She saw the empire not just as assets, but as a living entity whose vitality came from its people. She championed the Hidden Voices initiative with fierce, protective energy, her decisions tempered by the belief that true strength lay in vulnerability and in embracing varied experiences. The Glass Sky Lounge, once a sanctuary of solitary control, now served as a space for collaborative vision, where the Doha skyline reflected a future built on shared purpose. She sought to redefine leadership, becoming a conductor of a human symphony, ensuring every instrument found its note. Noor, the quiet catalyst, moved through this evolving world with ethereal grace, her presence embodying seen, not sorted. Her laughter, once rare, now rang like a clear bell through the Learning Center, a reminder of joy unearthed when voices breathe. Her sketches became intricate tapestries of interconnectedness, showing the beauty of diverse cultures uniting. Her youthful wisdom broadened into an understanding of how genuine connection mends divisions. She knew no one is perfect, but some people stay as a call to persistent commitment, nurturing shoots of understanding against any frost of indifference. The air around her carried a subtle charge of hope, encouraging others to shed protective silence. She was a beacon, not by declaration, but by the quiet truth of her being, a testament to empathy's power. The journey ahead was less about conquering territory and more about cultivating the fertile ground beneath their feet. Foundations once rigid vibrated with flexible strength, responsive to all inhabitants. This enduring transformation, a silent work of art on daily life's canvas, promised a future where each dawn over Dubai brought not just light, but the luminous glow of human potential. The empire, in its quiet revolution, was learning a new language of shared dignity and belonging, each day reinforcing that true power resided in the symphony of once unheard voices. Subtle resistance of old habits and the inertia of accustomed minds lingered, a persistent undercurrent demanding continued patience and unwavering faith in the blossoming human spirit. The burgeoning oasis of voices became more than a room. It was the empire's new heart, a pulsing center from which change rippled into quiet corners. Noor's simple utterance, feel, unlocked a deeper dimension of understanding, turning sterile discussions into dialogues that bridged chasms of unspoken need. Her innocent wisdom, a beacon in the guarded world of corporate strategy, gently guided Layla and Farid, solidifying their purpose into commitment. Layla, shedding the last vestiges of detached leadership, now championed the Hidden Voices initiative with fierce protective energy, her decisions tempered by a newfound belief in vulnerability as strength. She recognized grace not in grand gestures, but in a child's quiet courage, seeing true power in connection rather than control. Farid, Global Director of Cultural Strategy, navigated this landscape with the quiet authority of someone who knew both the grammar of power and the lexicon of human suffering. His role was less about managing and more about nurturing, cultivating ground where muffled voices could blossom into an eloquent chorus. He moved through the hotel's spaces, from bustling kitchens to hushed suites, not as an overseer, but as a listener, an empathetic guide. The engraved pen, a cool, reassuring weight, reminded him of his late wife's legacy and the collective future they were crafting, brick by empathetic brick. He understood empire building as patient dismantling of walls that separated people, allowing the true wealth of an empire to emerge from unheard echoes. His teachings in the Learning Center transcended theory, urging everyone to listen hard enough to perceive truths beneath silence and polite pretense. The Learning Center, once empty, now thrummed with democratic energy, a crucible where perspectives met and mingled. Jamal's culinary visions intertwined with Lena's sustainable engineering, while Dalia's daughter, once shy, articulated compelling plans for community outreach. Noor, a quiet architect of this change, moved through it with ethereal grace, her presence a living embodiment of seen, not sorted. Her laughter rang like a clear bell, reminding everyone that joy, like truth, could be unearthed when given room. Her intricate sketches, once private, became public tapestries, weaving diverse threads into a singular whole. She held no one is perfect, but some people stay not as lament but as a call to persistent commitment, nurturing tender shoots of understanding against any frost of indifference. The air around her carried a subtle charge of hope, coaxing others to shed protective silences and be heard. She was a beacon by the quiet, unwavering truth of her being, a testament to empathy's power. Beneath this cultural shift, deep-seated habits and patterns of ambition presented subtle resistance. Not all hearts embraced change. Some clung to familiar paradigms, finding solace in the established order. This reticence became a quiet undercurrent, not overt opposition but gentle inertia, demanding continued patience and steadfast commitment from Layla, Farid, and Noor. Their leadership turned into gentle persuasion, persistently weaving the human narrative into policy and project. Fostering unity illuminated subtle distinctions, reminding everyone that strength lay in valuing every shade of experience. This cultivation of a collective soul required vigilance rooted not in suspicion, but in deep understanding of the human condition. The silent work of integration, often unheralded, became the true measure of progress, a testament to gentle persistence against entrenched currents. The empire's future would be written not just in policy, but in the quiet, daily triumphs of understanding, the steadfast echo of every voice finally finding its song.